The next definition is drip, and they call it a head-mounted molding designed to reduce rainwater infiltration at top of door. Yes, that is certainly a definition for drip. We would call that a drip cap, and drip caps are actually installed in more locations than just a head-mounted molding designed to reduce rainwater infiltration at the top of a door. Drip caps, and when we switch to the screen view, I'll show them to you. They're mounted at the header. And they do so because as the water comes down, it hits this curved piece of metal, aluminum, galvanized, whatever it is, and then drips down, but you're already 2.5 inches off the face of the door, or the face of the header anyway. Drip caps are also installed at the bottom of a door for the same purpose. Any water that hits the face of the door runs down, it gets pushed away. Before we switch, I will tell you that drip caps ought to be considered mandatory equipment when you do an exterior door. And when you're doing perimeter gasketing, sweeps, thresholds, drip caps should always be considered. Always, always, always. Why do I say that? Well, I was on a job one time, and very close friends of my family. So all of a sudden, boy, I sure hope I have the answer because they're going to expect that I know everything. I go to the job site, and it's a masonry construction, what we just call a typical strip mall on the northwest side of Chicago. Whatever, 8 tenants, alley in the back, parking lot in the front. You got a bridal shop here, you got a convenience store here, you've got whatever the other locations were. And the problem was, whenever it rained, the carpeting on the inside of the rear exterior doors just became saturated with water, like 6 feet in. That happens 1 time, 2 times, not a big deal. It happens over the period of 6 months. Now, every single time it rains, it starts to stink in that room when you walk in the back. It wasn't a problem at all of the openings, but it was at this one in particular. They had the roofer there. The roofer tested everything. Hose up on the roof, letting it run for hours, no water coming into the unit, none whatsoever. And I said to the client, well, it ain't the roof. Looking at the typical installation, I said, well, I don't see any evidence of water coming in underneath the header. I says, so I don't think it's coming in that way. I said, what you probably want to do is install drip caps over the doorways on the header, and then you're going to want to change the door sweeps to one that incorporates a drip cap. The weather stripping was intact, didn't seem like it was a problem, and it was really a leap of faith. And he says, you know what, send me 8 of them. Send me 8 for the header, send me 8 door sweeps with the integrated drip cap, and I did. And delivered the stuff, and because, again, he's a friend of the family, I said 2 months later, whatever happened? He's like, man, it's been raining all the time, as you know. I says, yeah. He says, not a drop of water has come in. So while I can't explain how it happened, meaning just the fact that you're driving water off the face of the door, it's known to be completely successful. So use it all the time. Let's switch to the screen view and let me show you some of these items and really where it's being used. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So drip, a head-mounted molding designed to reduce rainwater infiltration at top of door. So let's take a look at some drip cap videos that I have.
Water during a rainstorm is just going to come down completely, and the ability of the drip cap to kick the water out is really crucial. And in my opinion, I know that this door's been here for at least 10 years, and they are original. And really, the only evidence of water damage is just a small amount of surface rust that's occurred down at the base of the jamb here. But other than that, I attribute the drip cap
All right, so that is a video that I have on a drip cap. What I'm driving at here with the drip cap idea is that building you were looking at is a movie theater. So on the back of the movie theater, it's 30, 40 feet to the top. Here's your doors. Here's your drip cap. Let's just go with it. The point of the matter is, here's that wall over the opening, 6070. Let's say that there's 30 feet here. 6 times 30, that's 180 square feet of water that has the ability that it's going to run down and all hit that head. So that's the idea. Now a drip cap, this is a catalog from a company called Dorbin. They're a regional supplier of weather stripping in the Chicago area, actually Cicero, Illinois. And they've been in business since the 1930s. My family's been purchasing from them since the 1930s. And drip caps, here we go. So there are 2 projections of drip caps in builder's hardware. There's the one that goes over the door or the window, whichever you like. 2.5-inch projection. These always go at the header. They have too great of a projection to go down at the bottom of the door. These are the ones that go down at the bottom of the door. So it's basically 3/4 inch. Now, what actually happens, and I had mentioned door sweeps that incorporate a drip cap. If you'll just tolerate me to find this. Here we go. A 103 would be a good example of the idea. There are other manufacturers that have other inserts. This is just there for our review. I could have pulled up Pemco, National Guard, Zero, Reese, etc., etc. So what actually happens is water hits here without a drip cap. It then lips inside of here. It drips on the top of the door. Now, hollow metal doors at the top, they're not waterproof. That's where the water gets in, and that's why you see rusting at the bottom of the door, because the water comes in and trickles down and pools at the bottom of the door. The bottom of hollow metal doors have weep holes. They're there because they know water's going to get in. They know water's going to get in. And what happens is, like Seco Regent doors, probably the most common door in the world, those are honeycomb core. That honeycomb's held on with an adhesive to the underside of a unprotected sheet of steel. The moisture gets in there, the rain gets in there, the water gets in there, and it destroys the cardboard honeycomb. It rusts the door from the inside out. So this simple piece of aluminum prevents all of that. What you're going to want to do, in my opinion, is use stainless screws, because the screws will rust with time, and that will leave you a trickle here of rust. Use stainless screws so get the piece up there, mark your holes, drill your holes. If you're putting in hollow metal frames, welded, put a piece of backer, like a piece of 1-inch thick foam insulation here, so that when you drill the holes, once the frame has been set in the wall, you're not drilling concrete. Give yourself a little space. Hold that in with some adhesive or just masking tape. Give yourself a little pocket to drill into. Mark the holes, drill the holes, caulk all of this behind here. Fill this all with caulk. That's how you do this. Same business down for the bottom of the door. That's really what drip caps are intended for. And again, I will simply attest to the fact that I am stupefied as to how extremely effective they were. So back to the strip mall, they had commercial cleaners come in, clean the rug, and it's never been a problem since. And this was this was 15 years ago, for sure, 15 years ago. Problem solved. Now, you can also do these more narrow projections, absolutely, why not? But this is what you'll see at the bottom of the door. This is what you'll see at the top of the door. Now, this is builder's hardware. Dorbin, Reese, National Guard, Pemco, Legacy, Zero, on and on and on. Draft Seal. Lots of people make drip caps. Now, what I've also seen out in the world are just drip caps. So here is your wall. Here is your hollow metal frame. So as far as I'm concerned, a drip cap should be right in the hardware set. I've also seen this material simply made in different sorts of shapes, and it's just some aluminum siding company or someone who's got decent thickness galvanized or aluminum, and they're just putting it in their press brake and bending it. and then just attaching it. So it doesn't have to be extruded aluminum. It can really be anything. But at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. It prevents that water from getting in and then getting in the door and then in the building. So that's what those are for. Okay, awesome. Let's look at the next definition, drywall frame. Lots to say about drywall frames. Let's move on. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.